especially my work as a solo artist, which I started making my solo records later on. After about 10 years strong in the writing, producing lane, I decided to start making my own solo records. And along that journey, I started to meet a lot of young, really talented songwriter producers and people I just took under my wing because I just met them and just thought that their talent was fabulous.
Mm.
Claude Kelly, who's gone on to write huge, he has a huge podcast, you know,
Oh,
yeah,
we sound crazy and
yes, you know,
something
Claude
York. Yeah.
first one of his, I think his first published song ever was a song that he wrote on my second solo album called Violins. And I met him in Troy Taylor's, um, another great producer that I've worked with, a good friend. We wrote for the Isley Brothers. Look at how life came full circle. We ended up writing a song together, Troy and I, called "Just Came Here to Chill" for the Isley Brothers. And I was like, when at that session, I was like, I've been chasing you since I was years old. We used to ride our bikes as kids looking for the Isleys match, big gates and barricades around it. So but Troy always had a lot of talent around him. So I met a young Claude Kelly and Troy's basement. I said, I want to record this song. And that was Claude's first published song.
Wow.
Um, my friend Daniel Jones, who passed away a couple of years ago, his first recording credit was on one of my solo albums. So I met these talented, brilliant songwriters, who I first started co-writing with them or recording their songs on my solo albums when I first started my solo artist journey, and also talented, brilliantly talented musicians and musical directors. So just the way Phyllis and Dave and Barry poured into me, I've lived life pouring into others as a tribute to how I was poured into,
Yeah.
and yeah, and I'm very
Wow.
proud of that. And
Mm.
I'm very grateful, that my experiences of mentorship were positive. These days you have so many, all these scandals and all these stories and all the
Mm.
craziness. I'm I'm grateful that you know, my experiences were quite, for the most part, quite good, so that I could want to have in my heart space to be a big brother and a mentor to others. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's business. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's really fascinating to hear, and especially when you the start of the story, she could recognize you from sneaking in to a show
Yes.
and getting upset about that, to really having such a special bond for you. It's like it's never where you start, it's how you finish. That is fascinating. I was expecting you to say that the artist that Dave brought in was Nikki, because I didn't realize that that you and Dave started with Phyllis before you did
Yes.
Brownstone.
Yes.
Um,
That was before, yeah.
the thing she told you about
But after,
contract. Oh,
but
sorry.
after the Phyllis session, Dave and I would just write songs on our own. So we would
Okay.
just write songs, pitch songs to people, and we pitched that song to I don't know who he had pitched it to, but he pitched it to several people. But Nikki became interested in it, and then she did some changes to it, made some additions to it. Then they did their own demo of it, and then they played back their additions to it. They sent it back to me, and then we all got together in New York and then did those recording sessions of in New York with Dave. Yeah.
Did when you guys were recording, I know you did. There's If You Love Me, and is it Half of You?
Yes.
Did you didn't meet Michael during those recording sessions or anything? It was just you and the girls.
No, but Michael called one day. He actually called. I was in a meeting. Was it, where was I? I was meeting with somebody at MJ. I can't remember. I may have been in a meeting. I can't remember if it was at a recording session or or at a meeting with somebody at MJJ. I can't remember. But one day when I was there at his label, I was either at a studio or at a label for MJJ. He called and he and said, um, hi Gordon, I can't talk long. I'm on my plane, but great song, really, really great song. Bye. And then he poofed off. That was literally. But by that time, "If You Love Me" was on the radio. I think we were working on "Half of You" because we recorded that later on. So "If You Love Me" was already on the radio. And remember, if you remember on the album, "Half of You" is what ends the album. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
so we recorded that later. So "If You Love Me" was already rising on the charts, and he was on the phone with somebody at the label who actually wanted, you know, patched me in to say, so he could say thank you. And then the conversation was so brief, but it was very genuine, and and then he was gone. Yeah.
Wow. Was that starstruck as well? Just the fact that you knew your name and he
Yeah. Of course it was, of course, absolutely. Absolutely.
Did when you, Nikki and Dave were producing and finishing up that If You Love Me, did you have a sense that yeah, this is going to be a 90s classic?
Not at all. And I was mad the whole session. I was
Why?
angry the whole time. Um, because when I wrote the song, the first version of it, I wrote it much more quietly. Like I've recorded it on my second solo album, um, my Love Stories album. I recorded it, and it's closer to the way I kind of heard it or felt it. And I sing it live all the time. Like I sing it live in my own shows or just at open mics. It's such an easy song to like teach at an open mic. So I sing it closer to the way I heard it, I guess.
Mm.
Because I didn't intend it to be like this woman's anthem. It was just a song about love and communication, relationships. You know what I mean? So when I first heard the demo that they did, I was like, why are they screaming? Like it's so loud. It's so big. And so when we're in the studio, like they're stacking their voice, they're stacking their vocals, and they're stacking and stacking and stacking. I'm like, Dave, isn't this enough? And Dave's like, that's the way they sing. Leave it alone. And then Dave decided to take the drums out of the first verse. Because the demo has the drums the whole way through that I sang. So then in the studio, Dave decides to take the first verse out. I mean, to take the drums out of the first verse. And so Nikki was having a hard time following the timing because there's no click. It's like, and she's having a hard time catching the tempo because she, like me, had been used to it with the drums. So it was taking quite a while. And this was a session after night because at this time I'm still working at Essence. So
Oh my
I had
goodness.
to work like the next day. And like this verse is taking like a long time. So I'm like, Dave, just put the drums back on. And he said, no. And he said, Gordon, people need to hear these words. That's what he said. I remember him yelling at me like, leave it alone. You do the arranging and the writing. Let me work on the producing because people need to hear these words. That's what he said. And he insisted on the verse being drumless so that you would listen to the gravitas, so to speak, of the lyrics and the nakedness of her beautiful voice. Nikki's a great singer.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between us, or even loving us, on which I did miss you.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
I didn't get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No. lucky. You're lucky.
They don't understand what Jonas Boys win Oscars. Play it.
And all these guys, they all work together.
I mean, I love all different genres.